Hello. In this lecture, I will be talking about the free task activities. The modules of this lecture are Introduction to Topic and Tasks, Teaching Talk as Performance, Context Building Activities, Evaluating Performance on Speaking Activities, concluding overall topics in this lecture, and the sixth module of this lecture is based on review all of those three lectures. The first module, Introduction to Topic and Task, is teacher helps student to understand themes and objectives of the task. For example, brainstorming, showing pictures, mimes, personal experiences to introduce the topic. Students may do pre-task, for example, topic-based odd-out word games. Teacher may highlight useful words and phrases, but would not correct the mistakes of the students. Students can hear a recording of a parallel task that had been done. In this pre-task activity, there is a sort of a task cycle. The task is done by students in pairs and groups and gives students a chance to use whatever language that they already have to express themselves and say whatever they want to say. This may be in response to reading a text or hearing a recording. Teacher walk around and monitor, encouraging everyone attempt at communication in the target language. Teacher helps students to formulate whatever they want to say, but will not correct their mistakes. The emphasis is on spontaneous exploratory talk and the confidence building within the privacy of that small group. Success in achieving goals of the task helps students' motivation. The planning for this pre-task activity in the class is somewhat students prepares for the next stage, where they are asked briefly to report to the whole class what they come up with and what are their outcomes. Students draft and rehearse what they want to say or write. Teachers go around and advise them and suggest them some phrases to polish and correct their language. The emphasis is on clarity, organization, and accuracy as appropriate for the public presentation. Another part of this pre-task activity to introduction of the topic and task is sort of reporting. Now, teacher asks some pairs to report briefly to the whole class so everyone can compare findings or begins a survey. There must be a purpose for others to listen during that time. Sometimes only one or two groups report in full. Others comment and add extra points. The class may take notes. Teacher chairs comments on the content of a group report, rephrase perhaps, but gives no further correction in it. The next part of this cycle is sort of language-focused analysis. Teacher sets some language-focused task based on text. Students read examples. In these examples, students are trying to find words and phrases related to the topic and text. Read the transcript, find words ending in S. Knowing what the means of those letters that comes in S to the end of the word. Find all words in the simple past form. Say which refers to the past time and which do not. Teacher goes around to help. Students can ask individual questions. In plenary, teacher then review the analysis, possibly listing relevant language on the board. Students may take notes. In part of a practice in the classroom, it is very important that teacher conduct practice activity as needed, based on the language analysis work already on the board, using example from the text and transcript. it is also important to have a sort of choral repetition of the phrases identified and classified in the previous cycle. Memory challenge games based on partially erased example or using list already on the blackboard are progressive for a sort of progressive deletion on the blackboard. Sentence completion, base sentence set by one team for another team, matching the past tense verb jumbled for object and subject in the text. Now let me conclude that whenever we're going to introduce the task and topic in the classroom, there is a greater need for some of the activities that are very important that we should do it. Number one, we have to have a task cycle. Number two, we have to have a plenary for it. Number three, we have to have report all of that in the classroom so that we can know what sort of preparation in the pre-task activity that we have made it. And the last part of that would be to practice those that we have prepared them through students in our class.